Welcome back. This is part 2. If you didn't watch part 1 yet, go back and watch that one first. The link is in the description. So you've built the trust, you've made the deposits, they said yes to the meeting. Now I'm gonna show you exactly what you do with that second meeting. 9 moves, 1 close, let's go. All right, so if you're still with me, let's go on to the next one. Next stage is where I'm gonna show you the 2 meeting structure that we use when we actually have made that appointment. And I'm gonna introduce you to the SW9, which is the 9-move method that my managing directors run on the second appointment. Hey, if you're getting value out of this, do me a favor, smash the like button. This next part is where you're probably gonna wanna start taking notes. All right, so stage 3, the appointment. Look, most brokers do recruiting in one meeting. They go, they have coffee, they sit down, they basically just vomit. They pitch. They hand over a folder and the agent's like, you know, what did I just go through? This is not. And that's one of the reasons that every time you make a phone call to somebody that's cold, they're like, no, I'm happy, I'm not moving, because they've been through that before. But that is not recruiting. That is literally just praying and pitching. Reach uses 2 meetings. We have the trust appointment, which is first, and then we have the value or presentation appointment, which is second. Each one has a very, very specific job, and one can't happen without the other, and neither of them are optional. So let's go through meeting number 1 first, which is the trust appointment. There is one job for this appointment, and that is for you to listen. That is it. You are not answering questions. You are literally just asking questions. There is no pitch. There is no conversation about comp plans. There is no solutions. There is no coaching. You are literally gathering intelligence. That's it. From that meeting is how we will fuel or structure the next one. But this one is only about asking questions. And I run this meeting by asking 12 very specific questions. How long have you been in the business? What does your business look like buyers, sellers? What's working, what's not working? What do you wish was different at your brokerage and your business? What does your current brokerage provide? What do you feel like you're missing? You know, how many people do you have in your database? What are your 3 primary lead sources? Where do you want to be 3 years from now? That kind of thing. I have the 3, they're built into the Reach playbook. So you'll get those when you schedule the appointment. But the question that changes everything is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now? So when you leave this appointment, the goal is that you're going to leave with basically 3 things. Where are they at right now? Where do they want to be? And what are 3 to 5 pain points that you identify that could literally change everything in their business? Those are the things that you're going to solve in meeting 2. But there is one golden rule, one rule you can never, ever break, and that is you never leave that appointment without first booking the next appointment. And the way I say that is, look, I want to build a custom plan. You just gave me so much information, and I've got a few things that are in my mind right now that I'm thinking about that I think really could completely and totally forever change your business. But I want to be very thoughtful about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the office and I'm going to get all these things down on paper. I'm going to put together something for you. What I'd like to do is get a time that we can get back together. Can we meet next Tuesday? If you don't set the appointment before you leave, I promise you 90% of the time there will not be a second appointment. So this rule has got to be hard and fast. Which brings me to the next appointment. Now, the first appointment happened off-site, okay? We went out to coffee, lunch, whatever. The second appointment happens in the office because business gets done where? In the office. And when you walk into that meeting, it's a custom plan, not a brochure, not a pitch deck. It's a custom plan that was built very specifically to them for the 3 to 5 issues that you identified, the gaps that you can solve very, very specifically. And then you run the SW9. Do I have your attention? 9 moves. Ready? Command the frame. Point A. Where's the finish line? Widen the gap. Shine the why. Diagnose the problem. Prescribe the strategy. Validate the agreement. And close. You run them in that exact order. Every single appointment. Every single time. All right, so the full scripts and the field cards, they're in the workbook, and you'll get that for anybody that schedules an appointment. But I'm gonna cover 3 of them. And if you just run these 3, I promise you it's gonna change the conversations immediately. So move 1, command the frame. The moment the agent walks into the value appointment, you have to set the rules of the conversation. Not them, you. Because what happens most of the time is brokers walk in, they have sort of an apologetic stance. You know what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh, thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate you being open to this. You know, I know you're busy. Look, you've got one in the loss column. We've already lost. Commanding the frame sounds like this. John, before we get into the plan, I want to tell you how this meeting is going to go. I'm going to recap exactly what you told me last time we got together. And then I'm going to go through a customized plan that I built specifically for you that I think will literally change the course of your business. And at the end of this, I'm going to ask you a very specific question. And that is, are you a good fit for this organization? And if you're not a good fit, I'll let you know that too. Does that sound good? This is building trust right out of the gates. There's no awkward conversations. Like I've told you very out of the gates, I respect you, I respect your time, I heard you, and now you know exactly what to expect at the end of the conversation. And I've removed the pressure because I've said, if you're not a good fit, no big deal, we'll just move on. Top agents have never had that experience before. That's why it works. So that brings us to move 6. Yes, I skipped the others. Move 6, diagnose the challenge. After you walk through exactly where they're at, where they want to go, the gap between those two places, and why it really matters, you arrive at the diagnosis. It sounds a little bit like this. John, based on everything that you talked to me about last time and what I've seen in your business, I've identified 3 very specific areas where I think we can have the fastest and the biggest impact on getting you from where you are now to where you want to get to. Is it okay if I walk you through that? Real estate professionals, you and I both know 87% of the licensees don't make it in this business. Don't worry, I don't have anything to sell you here, but what I do want to do is I want to impact your life. I want to change your life. In order for you to be the top of the top, you're going to need to do some things different. And one of those things is to become part of the Sales Warrior community. Subscribe below, it's free. Of course, they're going to say yes, right? They always say yes. Nobody ever said, oh no, don't tell me. And then you just simply walk them through the 3 very specific areas that you're going to address. Now, here's the magic though. I identified the problem, I solved the problem, and then we assign a value to that problem. We'll cover that in our one-on-one call, how you assign the problem. But now I've quantified what that actually means to their business and to their life. This basically positions you as the doctor, not as a vendor. Right? Vendors, they get shopped. Doctors get hired. Make sense? This is move 9, this is the close. And it's the 1 to 10 close. And you've run through all of the 8 prior moves and it's time to close. And y'all, can I just be honest? A lot of you struggle with closing because it feels unnatural. By following the SW9, each phase naturally takes you to the next phase. So by the time you get to the close, it's just a natural progression. And this is how it looks. John, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, no way, Jose, this is absolutely not for me. And 10 being, where have you been all my life? This is exactly what I've been looking for, sign me up. Where are you at right now? And then shut up. Here's the way I like to run that play. If they say 8, 9, 10, awesome, let's get the paperwork done. But if they say 7 or below, I stop. I go, oh, okay. We only work with people who are 8 or higher. Can I ask you a question? Why aren't you a 1? And let them talk. What they'll do is they will literally rationalize, justify, and sell themselves on why they really want to be there. If they want to be there and they're just playing coy by saying 7, they don't want to have commission breath, then what they'll do is they'll start to argue and defend that maybe they actually are an 8, a 9, or a 10. That's the move. You didn't chase them. You didn't negotiate. You didn't lower your standards. You actually raised them. You told them that you don't work with 7. And then you asked them, why aren't they a 1? That question, that series is some of the most powerful in the entire process. Because in the answer, they have to articulate everything that is attracting them to you and your company out loud. They literally sell themselves while you're sitting across the table. By the time they finish their answer, they've literally have moved themselves beyond a 7 into a 9, and it's a done deal. And if they don't, if they really are a 5 or a 6, then they're not your agent. Like, that's not who you want. It may not be forever, and maybe someday they'll get to a 9, but for right now, they are not it. So shake their hand. You keep them, it's natural, you continue to nurture them, you continue to communicate with them until someday maybe they become that 9. But that's the SW9. And that's exactly how our managing directors, our clients, close top agents in the second appointment. Now, what is the C in reach? Well, The C is bigger than just one move. It's the whole close stage. It's the offer letter, it's the paperwork that brings us to the handoff. And the offer letter has to be customized. It's built very specifically to that conversation. It addresses all of the specific gaps that you had identified and you put in your presentation, plus probably some of the nuts and bolts and the dotted I's and crossed T's that you need to have to make sure that everybody feels comfortable. Activation benchmarks have to be built in, right? This offer isn't tied to signing. It's tied to activation. And you got to hit these benchmarks in the first 90 days to get this. You follow? Like, I'm going to offer you this, but you have to do these things in the first 90 days to get it. And within 24 hours of signing, they have to be on a call with your admin and manager for the onboarding. You got to have that day one energy that sets the tone for the entire deal, which brings us to stage 5, which is the handoff. This is where most of us, we lose the agent, even though we just signed them, right? Because what they think they recruited to, what they think that they're going to get falls flat, right? Recruiting ends at activation, not at signing. Follow? All right. So here's the way the handoff. It's a 30-day system. Day 1 business plan, database download, CRM setup, week 2 launch, week 3, so on and so forth. It is a proven system that's written out so that by the time they get to day 30, they have a business plan, they've got a CRM, a database, they've got 3 transactions that are targeted, they've got an accountability partner, they're active, they're producing, they believe in the system because they're already in it. You literally have delivered on everything. And frankly, in that 30 days, they probably got more attention, more training, more coaching, and more support than they had the previous years they'd been in the business. That's where recruiting hands the baton to development. The seam between system 1 and system 2 in the bigger blueprint that we covered in episode 3. So reach, 5 stages, 1 pipeline, built to take a complete stranger and turn them into an activated agent inside your organization in less than 90 days. So I gave you the entire pipeline, 4-week engagement sequence, the 2 appointment structure, the SW9 moves, the 1 to 10 close. If you got some value out of this, if any of this was like, yes, baby, this is exactly what I needed, do me a favor and hit the like button right now, because there's somebody out there that needs to see this. And the minute you hit the like button, YouTube says, hey, I'm going to show this to other people just like this person, other broker owners that need to see this. And let's be honest, there's a lot of us that need it, and yet there's not a lot of us that are teaching it, which leads me to the offer. If you have an interest in installing Reach directly into your brokerage, I'll do it with you. All you have to do is book the call. The link is in the description. And when you book this call, I'm immediately going to send you the Reach recruiting workbook. The whole thing, like that's the text scripts, the email templates, the questions, the SW9, the offer letter framework, the 30-day onboarding system, everything. That's the trade. You book the call, you get the workbook. Whether or not we end up working together or not, you keep it. Does that seem fair? I've said this before, but I only work with a small number of brokers each quarter. I only work with the ones that are ready. The ones that are like, I can't keep doing the things the way that I've been doing and getting the outcomes that I've been getting. I'm ready to change and level up the way I do things so that I can get a different result. If you're looking for a different result, I want you to book the call. So that's Reach, 5 stages, pipeline, built in 2010, refined over and over and over the last 15 years. Closing top agents in every single market that we operate right now in this market. It can be yours. It's your move. I'll see you on the next video. And that's the full Reach pipeline. 5 stages, start to finish. If you missed part 1, the link is in the description.